Nigeria just posted its strongest economic surge in over a year. But is this growth for you, or just for the books? That's the question Nigerians across homes, markets, and boardrooms are asking, as new data shows a sharp climb in GDP and a revival of investor confidence. Here's an in-depth look at what's driving this turnaround, who's benefiting, and where the risks still lie. The big numbers. What just changed? In Q2 2025, Nigeria's GDP grew by 4.23%, up from 3.13% in Q1 2025. Non-oil sectors now make up around 96% of total GDP, underlining how far the economy has shifted away from dependence on petroleum. Inflation, which had been punishing households, has begun to ease. It fell from a peak of 24.5% in January to 20.1% by August. Thanks to that easing, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has room to cut its policy rate, which currently stands at 27%, marking what many see as the start of a monetary easing cycle. The exchange rate, once a source of chaos, is stabilizing. With reforms, the naira now trades around 1,473 Nigerian nairas to the US dollar in the unified market. These figures make it clear. Nigeria's economists and policymakers believe they might be turning a corner. What's behind the upswing? 1. Diversification beyond oil. The non-oil economy is not just filling in gaps, it's dominating. Industries like manufacturing, services, agriculture, and tech are producing real output now, not just numbers on paper. For example, oil production continues to contribute, recently around 1.51 million barrels/day. But its weight in the total is diminished by the growth elsewhere. 2. Macro reforms and market confidence. A series of bold moves have helped reset expectations. Unification of multiple exchange rates and creation of an electronic forex platform. Removal of fuel subsidies, which had long been a drag on public finances. Stronger revenue mobilization through tax reforms, leading to a more stable Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, disbursement to states and local governments. Foreign reserves have improved, giving the country better buffers against external shocks. These shifts have not only helped stabilize markets, but also revived investor interest. In Q1 2025 alone, Nigeria saw $5.64 billion in new investments, the largest quarterly inflow since 2020. Investors are chasing yields and reform momentum. 3. Improved fiscal health. With better revenues and subsidy cuts, states are getting stronger FAC allocations, enabling more project spending, infrastructure, and social services. At the same time, Nigeria's debt-to-GDP ratio now sits at about 53.8%, which analysts consider moderate for a large emerging market. The ground reality: growth versus hardships. While the macro data is encouraging, many Nigerians will read those numbers with skepticism, because everyday life still feels strained. High inflation and food prices. Even with inflation cooling, 20% plus inflation is still crushing for ordinary households. Food prices, in particular, remain a dominant burden, especially for lower-income Nigerians. A World Bank report cited by Business Insider noted that half of Nigerians are in poverty, and reforms have not yet led to meaningful reduction in hardship. Uneven distribution of gains. Growth is often concentrated in urban areas, in sectors with access to capital, infrastructure, and export markets. Many rural areas, informal sectors, or regions with weak infrastructure may be left behind, vulnerable to external shocks. Nigeria is still exposed to fluctuations in global oil prices, threats to security in key production zones, e.g. pipeline vandalism, and global capital shifts, if investor sentiment sours. Where the opportunity and risks lie. Opportunities. Credit comes easier. With rate cuts possible, businesses and consumers may access cheaper loans, fueling expansion and consumption. Capital inflows. Renewed foreign and domestic investment could spur multiple sectors: tech, agriculture, manufacturing. Multiplier for growth. Infrastructure, public spending, and stronger state revenues can feed into jobs, productivity, and development. Policy continuity matters. If reforms are anchored and consistent, confidence can deepen and gains become sustainable. Risks and headwinds. Inflation persistence. If food inflation or imported price shocks reappear, monetary easing may reverse. Oil volatility. Sudden drops in global crude prices can hurt government revenue and reserve buffers. Exchange rate pressures. Capital flight, external debt obligations, or speculation could destabilize the naira. Political backlash and social unrest. If people feel excluded, reforms may provoke backlash or demands for subsidies. Governance failures. Mismanagement or corruption can erode trust and waste the window of opportunity. What this means for you and the nation. For ordinary Nigerians, possibly easier credit, better business conditions, and some relief as inflation eases. But gains will be uneven. Many will continue to feel the pinch, especially in food, housing, and cost of living. Pressure will mount on government to deliver visible results: jobs, infrastructure, services. For businesses and investors, a more stable environment invites new capital, particularly in non-oil sectors. But caution is still needed. Systemic risks and policy reversals can undo progress quickly. Strengthening regulatory institutions, transparency, and accountability will be key to preserving investor trust. Support to vulnerable populations via social programs must balance growth and equity. The road ahead, scenarios to watch. Sustained growth with inclusive reach. If reforms stay on track, inflation moderates and gains spread, Nigeria could cement its path as a stable emerging market. Growth slipping into elites. The gains may concentrate in select sectors and regions, leading to inequality, frustration, and social strain. Final thoughts. Nigeria's latest GDP leap is more than just numbers. It's a statement of possibility. But possibility doesn't guarantee prosperity for all. The promise hinges on execution, inclusion, and resilience against shocks. If Nigeria can harness these gains, stabilize inflation, deepen structural reforms, and bring the benefits to everyday citizens, then it will be a turning point. If not, it risks another cycle of hope deferred.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this update and want to stay informed with fast, reliable news, don't forget to subscribe to Newsflash 360. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. Your next headline is just seconds away.